Hello, thank you for clicking on the link and watching, and welcome to Module 3, which is the final module in the program, and will focus on getting things done in an adaptive and agile organization, something that our COVID-19 experience has made all the more relevant. Needless to say, delivering this module in a virtual environment is not what we expected when we launched the program back in October, but here we are. The world has changed dramatically since then, and we're all responding and adapting to our new reality. Actually, it's a dose of our own medicine. We've redesigned Module 3 to take advantage of the lessons we learned from our April webinar and the opportunities of working in a virtual environment. In this 15-minute video, we will do two things. First of all, we'll introduce you to the module experience, and then we'll set up the simulation, which is at the heart of the experience. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact either Mike, me, or Lale.
So, how are we taking advantage of the opportunities of working in a virtual environment? Well, one of the key learning features of the program is social learning, which, as the name suggests, is learning and collaborating in groups. So our virtual Module 3 has been designed to facilitate social learning in a virtual environment, which is something you showed us worked during our April webinar. In addition, and if you allow me to share the screen, we know that each of you has experienced a significant expansion of your workday over the last 8 weeks. So we want to ensure that a virtual Module 3 does not add any unnecessary burden to your lives. To provide flexibility, our virtual Module 3 is comprised of a series of asynchronous group and individual assignments, which we are asking you to complete within a specific time frame. And each of these assignments will ask you to explore an idea, a concept, or a behavior which builds on a previous experience or exercise. Module 3 will conclude with a synchronous 2-day webinar and a virtual graduation ceremony on the 28th and 29th of July. The design we have chosen is very similar to the way many leading universities and business schools are currently delivering their MBA and executive education programs.
So why asynchronous activities? Well, asynchronous, of course, means that you can work at your own pace in your own time. It gives you the flexibility you need to learn in the current environment. But that flexibility comes with responsibility, which is that you need to self-organize and decide for yourselves how much time you dedicate to each assignment, as you did for the April webinar. One of the asynchronous group exercises is an organizational simulation, which we call geometrics, and that Mike will talk through shortly. You will real play what would be a 90-minute to 2-hour simulation in a physical classroom over a 2-week period. We will outline the simulation in more detail, as well as the other asynchronous activities in a few moments. Now, let's first share some of the highlights of our synchronous webinar on the 28th and 29th of July.
So, on day 1 of our webinar, we will run a post-mortem on your entrepreneurship at T. Rowe Price projects with a set of invited leaders who are interested in knowing how you did and what results you achieved. On day 2, you will have a third dialogue with a management committee member, as we've done on modules 1 and 2, and that dialogue is to discuss what you've learned about adaptive and agile organizations and how T. Rowe Price could incorporate these lessons into its operational DNA in the future. Finally, you will also be working with Kathy, Lale, Elizabeth, and myself in your home groups to explore the progress you've made as leaders, an adaptive change you would like to make in your team, and the things you will have to do to drive that change in your team as a leader. And that gives you a high-level overview of our agenda for the next few weeks.
So now we'll talk through the elements and phases of the program in a little more detail. So you're watching the video, so the first assignment is already well underway. The next activity is to complete a 10-minute online survey to capture your insights and your learnings from your projects. the value generated for you and T. Rowe Price, and any feedback you have for us to make the projects even more impactful and relevant to future participants. You'll receive a link to the online Entrepreneurship at T. Rowe Price survey in a separate email. That will be followed by the geometric simulation. The simulation is designed to provide you an immersive experience in parallel to your real work life, to explore and deepen your awareness of the organization as a complex system. You'll be assigned to one of 3 teams: an exco, middle managers, or manufacturing associates. Every home group will have a representative on each of the 3 teams. And each team will have a set of responsibilities to complete and guidelines to follow during the simulation. In addition, the teams are interconnected, which means that the ability of one team to move forward depends on the ability of another team to provide the input needed to move and make progress. When the simulation is finished, you will of course want to debrief the experience from your different vantage points in your home groups. Mike will talk more about this later. This will be followed by a small amount of pre-work on adaptive teams. You'll each receive an information pack with a video, article, and some reflective questions, which you should review individually and then discuss in your home groups. This will culminate in a personal worksheet that you will need to complete and bring with you on day 2 of the webinar.
So, what does Geometrics produce? Well, Geometrics produces a product called a trigram, which is made from a raw material called a megatriangle. Now, a trigram is simply a shape that represents an object in the physical world that can be produced via the manipulation of 9 sub-triangles contained within a megatriangle. The megatriangle is simply 9 black and white triangles. The sub-triangles of the megatriangle that form the trigram can be colored or formatted to enhance the effect and the representation of the shape. In this case, of the soccer player, it's the uniform and shoes. However, it's important to note that you may not alter the size of any of the 9 sub-triangles in a megatriangle to create a trigram. Trigrams that do not conform to the standard above will not be counted in the final performance results. So, what is the manufacturing process? Well, it's divided into 3 steps. The first is design, the creation of a trigram, and the specifications of its construction and coloring. The second step is assembly and color, to create the final trigram according to the design blueprint. The third step is quality assurance and inventory, to assess the technical and creative aspects of the trigram, as well as inventory the finished trigrams according to who designed it and the theme that it's supposed to represent. Creating trigrams will require the manufacturing associates to use their skill in PowerPoint to manipulate the sub-triangles of a megatriangle. In addition, Excel will be used for trigram scoring, inventory, and overall organizational performance management. Performance will be measured by the Q&A team and will be scored according to the following criteria: a set of technical issues and a set of creative issues. The aim of the Geometrics simulation is to create as many different, creative, and innovative trigrams as possible according to the themes that will be set by the executive committee, right? So manufacturing associates do not have free reign, but they need to wait for the executive committee and the middle managers to give them their assignments as to which trigrams will be produced in which themes. So when we think about our soccer player, that would be a sports theme. There's one more important limitation that all players need to be aware of, which we call the Prime Directive. And the Prime Directive states that no member of the manufacturing associates team may work more than 90 minutes over the course of the simulation. So manufacturing associates who hit their 90-minute time limit must stop working and will not be available for future assignments. So, for example, if a manufacturing associate is assigned to a task that takes her 90 minutes to complete on day 2, then she will not be available for any future simulation work. This will require the management teams to manage this resource tightly and use this limited resource as efficiently as possible. So how does the simulation end? Well, there are 3 conditions. The first, the 2-week period comes to an end. The second, all the manufacturing associates have hit their 90-minute time limit. And third, the EXCO can ask to terminate the simulation, and the board of directors agrees, with Mark and I being the board of directors.
So here are your teams. Each team will receive a briefing package on the first day of the simulation. From there, you're on your own. However, the management teams must copy Mike and me on all formal communications, assignments, and approvals throughout the simulation so we can keep an eye on your progress. The manufacturing associates must notify the middle managers and copy us if they exceed the 90-minute prime directive.
As I indicated earlier, Mark and I will be operating as the board of directors to the executive committee and will answer any operational or guideline questions they have throughout the simulation. Towards the end of the simulation, we will be sending out a Geometrics employee survey to capture your feelings and perspectives as members of your respective teams. The survey will take no more than 10 minutes to complete. After completing the simulation, you will reconvene in your home groups to discuss the experience and determine what worked, what didn't work, and how you felt throughout the entire experience. This takes us to the webinar.
We've designed the webinar to work through the concepts and ideas in bite-sized chunks. When we all convene on the 28th, we will kick the webinar off with a reconnecting exercise, followed by our project post-mortem session, which focuses on capturing the key takeaways from your entrepreneurship at T. Rowe Price projects. During the session, you will work in small groups to explore the results of the Entrepreneurship at T. Rowe Price project survey, which we spoke about earlier, as well as share your perspectives on the execution challenges you faced, the value your project generated, and the lessons you can apply in the future. For example, using a similar process to develop leaders in your teams. We'll be joined in this session by a group of senior leaders who are interested in hearing about your experiences.
After the project postmortem, you will return to your simulation team to explore the steps Geometrics should take to become a more adaptive, resilient, and agile organization. Your simulation teams are the executive committee, the middle managers, and the manufacturing associates. The session leverages your asynchronous work activities and offers you an opportunity to reflect and build on the insights you gained from the adaptive teams work you did and your experience in the simulation. The output of this session will be a series of design for change proposals for each group to improve the adaptability, agility, and resilience of Geometrics. At this point, we will break for lunch.
And then in the afternoon, you'll return to your home groups and work at your own pace. The aim of the exercise is to apply your insights on adaptive organizations to T. Rowe Price and generate a list of suggestions to move your own teams, functions, and T. Rowe Price towards a more adaptive, agile, and resilient way of operating without sacrificing execution excellence. As well as your learning from Geometrics and its redesign, you can also draw on your own experience of personal adaptation during the pandemic. You will have all afternoon to complete this assignment. You'll be able to share your conclusions and proposals with our management committee guest first thing the following day.
As Mark said, we launch day 2 with a management committee executive dialogue. And our discussion will provide you with an opportunity to share your thoughts and ideas about becoming more adaptive and agile leaders with our management committee guest. It will also drive a conversation on what T. Rowe Price leadership might look like in the future. After a short break, we will move into our home groups for the program's final group coaching sessions. As I mentioned earlier, each home group will work with the group coach they work with during Module 2. So we were delighted that Elizabeth will be coming back and rejoining us. The focus of our coaching conversations is to provide you an opportunity to share your progress as a leader over the last 9 months, outline any changes you want to make to build a more adaptive and resilient team, and to begin developing an action plan to drive the changes that you would like to see happen in your team. As in Module 2, this will be a series of 45-minute interactive discussions with everyone contributing, being curious, and asking questions to help your colleagues develop. We will run 2 sessions, one in the morning and one in the afternoon.
That brings us to our final session, which is your graduation from the program. It's really important to celebrate the end of the pilot program and all of the hard work you've put into your own and to each other's development.
Okay, so that is a lot of information that we've shared with you in a very short time. So please feel free to watch the video again if you have any questions. There are a lot of moving pieces, and it will require all of us to coordinate our time and efforts efficiently to gain the most from the experiences. And of course, please reach out to our team, to Mark, to me, to Lale, if you have any questions or concerns regarding the activities, or if you just simply want to discuss something with us.
There's one final thing. As you can imagine, we are striving to practice what we preach in the design and delivery of this module. We were stretched to think out of the box, to find solutions from different fields, and experiment with new ideas and techniques. So we're really counting on you to help us learn and improve our ability to deliver a meaningful and relevant developmental experience for your fellow leaders who will join us on future programs. That's why we're asking you to join us in a bit of action research throughout the module. This won't add to your burden, but we may join you in the simulation at various points and ask you for your thoughts and feedback on the overall module experience every now and then.
Well, that's it for now. We look forward to learning a lot with you during Module 3 and hope you are too. We're also looking forward to reconnecting with you in July. For Mark and myself, I wish you good luck, good learning over the next 10 weeks. And once again, thanks for your engagement and your help. We couldn't do this without you. Thank you.